It's 6 o'clock, so I'm going to call this meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. This meeting is being recorded and will be available on the city's YouTube channel. This evening, our thoughts and prayers are with all the residents of North Carolina and Florida that are being impacted by the hurricane. So we'll start with the roll call. Nick, you want to give us a start? Please state your name.
Nick Wolf. Aaron Wozniak. Mike here. Tom here.
Thank you. Move on to item number 4, approval of the consent agenda. Unless there are any questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I have a question. It's under correspondence. For the effectiveness report, can we post that on, if we haven't already, like on the city Fairfax page or something like that?
Well, it's in our packet.
Well, I understand it's in our packet, but something separate. Mostly because for some questions or feedback on asking why we looking to get a city manager position. I think that report helps shed some light on that. And some of the issues Fairfax has had with toxic leadership and stuff like that, why we're trying to move in a different direction.
I can post it in the announcements. And I would just note, item F, we don't have the library minutes. They just met last night, so.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion.
Say.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll move on to reports, and I saw the sheriff's deputy walk in. Good evening.
Hello. Looks like we got September 10th through October 8th. The hours for the month of September were met, and we had 84 calls for service.
Any questions?
Go ahead.
Any questions for the deputy?
Seems like a lot of traffic stops. More than, I guess, that just stood out to me. Maybe that's accurate. I didn't notice that, but more of a focus. Anything else? Or
I don't think so. I don't know what it looks like. I do know people could not fire over stuff. I don't think we've done anything in particular. There is no quota if anyone thinks that.
Sure, there isn't. I understand what you're saying.
So.
People don't know that. Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Where's 117 Railroad? Is that the apartments?
Yes.
That's the apartments.
Okay. The other department reports are in your packet. Do you have any questions for the department heads, or do any of the department heads have anything to add to their reports?
So the dog successfully removed.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, the dog went the day after she did it voluntarily before. She was even notified from the city. She came in yesterday. Yeah. It's an unfortunate situation. I kind of felt bad for her, but it is what it sounds like it's happening. Yeah.
Lynn, you had an update on an inspection that you did?
Oh, a year ago, we started this, or over a year ago, with the waterway around Scandinavian Advances, down by Royal Pools and Starks. Only said they out trying to get clean and so forth, those pictures and so forth. Joanne had me go out there here last week and think about kind of relook at it. And I took a few new pictures. Some of the areas I had the piles were not exactly in the same area anymore. It appeared they made an attempt at some point to clean it. Did okay from kind of the previous pictures, but there's some areas that I don't know if it's still out of them. Whether they used to clean it or what, but there are some other different areas, but it's better than it was from way back then. So they've attempted at some point. Somebody's attempted at some point.
Do you think it still needs to be
It could use
finished up?
some, it could use some adjustment, a little bit cleaning, but it's not as bad as it was. But definitely doesn't. From the track, you know, I can see, well, look like they had a bigger, probably skid loader, but then could be, you know, they could be driving them instead of going at it from different or a smaller machine, but 30 ton, they really did.
So you think we just need to send them a friendly reminder that you're halfway there?
Maybe a year reminder, it's up to you guys what you wanna do. Water's flowable through there, but it's still gonna catch it from. Good hard rain, might clean it out, you might get more out it, don't know.
Any other feedback from the council on that? Okay, any other questions, or I see Kathy's at the.
No, I just wanted to say that we had a lot of discussion last night about OPN's design. And we'd like you guys to all take a look at it, and if you've got questions or concerns, get them to me by next week, next Tuesday. And then we've got a list of things that we're concerned about, and we want them to address them before we move on to presenting them to you, just because I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done before we. But if you guys want it sooner, we'll gladly do it. We just thought the next couple of months is gonna be busy with CIP and budget and stuff, that maybe we wait till the new year and they have a chance to look at it and rework things that we have concerns about.
My suggestion, Kathy, is the more information we can get pieced out, the better. Emails that have been going back and forth, there's still a lot of questions out there,
Right.
but there's only one thing is what OPN has. I read a bunch of different things of OPN is gonna come here and presentation, but to read something and not know the details on the why is hard on my end.
So would you like, I mean, OPN will come out, we just thought there's so many. What they have is nothing, I mean.
We know it's coming up starting in December through.
Right.
So it starts getting crazy, so the sooner the better, I would say. I mean, I think Cynthia sent out something looking for some information on burns to get to know what kind of money we have. I saw some correspondence that you had, Joanne, on the amount of money that's gonna be asked for is above $521,000. We have no idea.
Yeah, well, I don't think we have any idea right now either.
Well, but the statement that Joanne made in some sort of whatever it was in the library, that amount of money is probably gonna take whatever. So you're just to present all of this to council over 1 or 2 meetings, and I anticipate something from us is asking a lot.
Well, I don't think anybody's expecting anything in the near future. But, okay, so what would you tell me, you give me direction, you tell me what you'd like.
I don't know what information you have. I mean, I'd like to hear what Vern has, what Cynthia sent out. I understand your email back and forth of what you are and what you have and what's available. So we can just start feeding us something. Give us, I don't know what the order is, because all I know is what I've seen in OPN. That's all.
That's not, yeah.
So maybe some of the library board directors can come in and start explaining what you guys have been going through and having an update. You have a focus group also that's been going on. What have you heard from them? What's the input, you know, and the why? So as a council, we can start to wrap our head around this rather than laying this down in whatever, here's what we want. And now all of a sudden we're in budget time and trying to save some frustrations on both ends here, right? Start sooner than later. So you choose, or the library board chooses, but I'm disappointed that the library board hasn't been up here at some of our meetings just to give us an update. Be it a minute deal or whatever. open communication, I guess, is what I'm.
Well, this is the first meeting since, I mean, we hadn't seen anything until that meeting.
Yeah, but there's been discussions going on for the last how many months? 4 or 5 months, 5, 6, whatever. And it's just keeping us up to speed, but we're not here to say what yes, what no. It's to educate us through as we go, so we can walk with you, so we understand, rather than here it is, and now all of a sudden we have questions and well, we thought this, so trying to help you out here with, or the library board to come to a council meeting or meetings starting next time and start to talk to us about what you've done so far. This isn't toward, I know this is the library board, so you're the library person that's here tonight. I was hoping someone else would be here to show support to at least talk about it. So I think you understand what I'm asking.
Kathy, can I ask you a question? What was your involvement in the last 4 months in this?
No, it's been, and that's part of our, I mean, not very little.
Exactly.
Yeah, OPN is kind of, and I don't know, it's been the focus group, and she came into, Mindy Thor came and talked to me for about 10 minutes and didn't like what I had to say and kind of left.
So I think, Tom, to your point though, what I would say is that she doesn't have that information that you're looking for. There's a group that has that information that hasn't shared it.
And they've got it very tied to themselves. And what you saw is what we saw. And I mean, there's a lot of concerns about it. So it's hard to bring something to you guys. I mean,
Well, we're not looking for a
conceptualize.
finished product. We're not,
Okay.
I can only speak for myself, but we're looking for what your ideas are, and if that focus group comes in and to give us an update, more power to you guys. I mean,
and I mean, there's nothing, we're not asking for anything on this next budget year. So,
but that doesn't, that to me, that doesn't matter.
okay, yeah.
It's knowing what's going on with an expansion, and there's been talk and discussion for months about it. And so that focus group, maybe they can come in and give us an update and tell us where they're at. OPN can come in possibly,
Yeah.
and give us thoughts, because as an uneducated person that looks at something.
I understand.
Yeah.
Can I offer a suggestion here? I think it's important that OPN come and explain their thoughts behind their proposal. Also, I think it would be good that someone from the focus group or multiple members come and just talk about how it all got started and who's involved and where it's headed.
Yeah.
Maybe preliminary to showing the OPN, and then open it up to questions and include other feedback. That's gonna have to be within a council meeting. So my question to you is, do you want it on the November agenda? Nothing was on this agenda. Nobody asked for it, so we really couldn't go into detail. Do you want it on the November agenda? Or do you want a special meeting just for that? Or you tell me.
I'll jump in and say I'm not interested in the special meeting, but something next month I think is reasonable. The focus group, if I had a suggestion, I'd say the focus group, I'd like to see the whole committee so we can find out what they all say. And or one, okay, but if they're that invested in it, I would think they would all want to be here. I mean, they're on it. But my suggestions,
I think an outline of some kind from the focus group or OPM would be a good idea, because I'm looking, the department head reports, and for the last 2-3 months, Kathy's challenges every time is frustration with the OPM. So
It is.
if the head of the library department's frustrated with them, and kind of what Mary Ann was talking about last month, some of them with their, and this is all hard set in stone, but some of their ideas are not what the council was expecting or looking for. Kathy's frustrated with them. I think they need to come and present something. Doesn't have to be an outline or something super detailed, just some sort of information, because the council's ultimately going to decide it. And if we've been in the dark the whole time, they come in and they say this, and then we say no. Kathy's unhappy with it, then That's a lot of time that was wasted by them, and I don't know, I just don't want them to go right back to the drawing
Be
board.
starting all over.
Yeah. Why keep starting over again and again when you look at it and go, well, we don't want the building there, we don't want that style of building, I understand some of the challenges with adding to the building versus building, breezeway connected to the signal, get all that, I'm not looking for that kind of hard detail, but something.
Yeah, and I was in the focus group meetings. But I guess we said at the library board meeting, maybe really it's someone from the library board comes and presents it, or you better yet, OPN come and presents. I thought the presentation, I said this in the library meeting, I thought the presentation that they provided was assumptive on quite a few things, so. They've done a better job with the presentation to the board and the foundation. But I agree, I've been asking for something to go to the council. I think there was some timing issues with OPM being available. Yeah, and I think they were busy a couple weeks ago too. Like would have been a special meeting. But
I mean, that's kind of like some of the stuff that I think we'd like to see, because I know it's in concept plans, but it looked like the building, and Kathy, maybe this is part of your frustration, there seems to be a lot of style and not a lot of substance.
Well, I think, this is a Kathy opinion, nothing else. OPI is in for the awards. I mean, they just.
Didn't that happen the last time with the building? We built a nice fancy building that turned out to be a big.
They got a nationwide award for the Marion Fire Department, and so that's
their,
and we would like something functional.
more utilitarian.
Yes.
There's your word. I'd say OPN down the line, focus group, board.
Well, and there are a bunch of, the focus group is there are a bunch of library board members on the focus group, so.
to be fair, it's not a focus group. That's what they called it, but it's not getting resident feedback or anything. That
Yeah,
definitely
it
needs
was
to happen.
It was a very bad focus group, not well-rounded or.
Those are 5 members on there.
There was originally 6, and I added 2 more. Because I wanted somebody everybody was 55 plus. There was nobody that had children, there was no one that really used the library. So I found I didn't want a person that had children, and then.
How many board members are on there? 3. So close to half of board members.
I went to a seminar about what to do pre-referendum. And they said absolutely a focus group is needed, but it should be 40 members. Should be a wide variety, a complete representation of it. Or
Well, I know time's valuable, but hearing stuff like that definitely sends off red flags. What's the library for? Primarily child focused. You know, that's what a lot of the activities, and no one there as kids that would be using it. That seems, I don't know, counterintuitive.
I agree, so I didn't manage to get somebody on that had children, but yeah. Well, I even said to the folks, we've come to, I mean, during our summer activities were crazy this summer. I mean, I had 40 and 50 people coming to an activity. I said, come to those activities, talk to these people and get at least you have an idea of what people wanted. But that didn't happen. My gut feeling is OPN knew what they wanted and they steered the focus group into what they wanted.
And if that's a question to OPN, when they present it, whenever that is, maybe all this other information from the board members, from you, I'll call it the focus group for lack of whatever, but the non-board members. That way we can help you, right?
Right.
And steering OPN in a different direction is what your guys' thought is and help with that. And work together basically is what I'm trying to get at. We need more information so we can work together and forward whatever it is.
We've got to them tomorrow and see if they can come next month.
Thank you for saying something, bringing that up. I did that.
Okay, any other questions or updates on the department reports? Hearing none, we'll move on to number 6. Discussion of possible motion concerning a letter of support for the Lynn County Gaming Association. This was initiated by Jan Welton, a Lynn County Gaming Association board member, had requested this. And so I indicated to her that this would need council approval in order to do that. So are any of the council members interested in providing such letter of support?
No, I would second that.
Go ahead.
Oh, I don't see why we would want to support gambling. Period. It usually takes more than it gives to the community. It's like a Democratic run state like California, just sucks in money, then gives you a pittance and says, be happy with that little pittance we gave you.
Any other thoughts?
My opinion is this, that if we gave a letter of support, the Lynn County Gaming Commission, it's just 5 people tonight, 4. That's all that it is. It's not the city of Fairfax. And I don't think that's a fair representation of putting a letter out that Lynn County can use to try to promote. I'm not here to say if I'm in favor or against the casino. Is this 3rd or 4th time they've tried? I don't know. But asking for a letter of support from a council.
I don't think the city should promote gambling. I'll be a little more black and white.
So any other thoughts?
I'm for it, I just don't know what it does for Fairfax, for us to
The 8%,
actually, what's that?
that 8% they put back into the nonprofits. How much of that gets Fairfax?
Yeah, we don't get it directly.
Right.
It goes potentially to nonprofit projects.
I mean, I'm for it just for the construction aspect of it, put some of my members to work, but I get what you're saying as far as not condoning here, putting it forth as a city.
I feel that would represent the city, that the city is in support of that, and I don't think that's accurate at all. It's just
So we can I can ask for a motion and see if there is one. If not, we'll move on. Anyone feel strong enough to make a motion? Died for a lack of motion. We'll move on. I will follow up with them. Okay, moving on to number 7. Consider resolution approving an agreement for the leasing assignment or sale of existing dark fiber. Fairfax's right away, interstate power and light. And looks like we have a representative here to explain what this is.
Thank you. My name is Mike Wagner. I'm the Community Development Manager for Light Energy, and I'm also part of the dark fiber team that we put together over the last year and a half. And just to kind of explain what dark fiber is, because it sounds really kind of ominous or something like Star Wars when you first hear it. The easy thing is that fiber optics transmit data by light. So when it's active, it's lit up. When you have fibers that are not in use, they are dark. And our project and our team has been put together tasks to figure out, we have 48 excess fibers and we're looking to lease them. Our franchise agreement allows us to build a fiber optic network. We built it several years ago. Right now, it's mostly up in the northeast corner of the state. And our franchise agreements with our communities allow us to build it for energy delivery. But right now, we're looking to resit both the fiber and the unused conduit and access conduit that we have. So the resolution we have before you right now is to basically get the city to sign off on our ability to lease these fibers. We're not building a new network right now. So this is the existing fiber. It's already in the ground. Our main focus is really to just get the clearances so that we can shoot a signal underneath the fiber or along the fiber from point to point. If we did have someone who wanted to lease fibers from that to serve the community or to serve a business in the community, if they wanted to splice into our fiber network, they would have to work with the city and get any of those necessary permissions. So we're not trying to set up some kind of agreement where we're trying to take a bunch of power that we don't have, or present to some potential leasing company that they could come in and just do whatever they want. If they wanted to splice something their lines, they would have to work with the city getting necessary permissions to disturb it in that way. So these are 48 lines, fiber lines that we have available for use in these pairs. And all money that comes from that offset customer costs for the future. That's kind of the thumbnail. I guess if there's any questions, I can walk through some things.
Here's my difference between internet and fiber that you're talking about.
Right, I guess that's an important thing to point out. Our guys are not going to start showing up at your house to install ESPN or hook up your Wi-Fi router. This is what's called middle mile. So we basically have a fiber line that runs, it's a circle that runs from Madison to Cedar Rapids. The Iowa portion comes in, Marquette and Dubuque, that kind of forms a big circle, kind of anchoring down here in Cedar Rapids. And then we have a spur that goes through Cedar Rapids and so it's a fiber line. So if we had a business that wanted to use point to point or something in some Cedar Rapids, and they wanted to have a little in firm connection, they can plug it in on both ends and they can do all their stuff out. If we had somebody that wanted to use it for internet access, there's some major hubs that run along the railroad tracks. They could use our lines to get to those and then shoot them down to Chicago. And they would work with someone who built the internet to do that time. But really all we're doing is offering just a line and make it a big.
So that would be more secure than using the current internet that a business might be using.
So it could also depend on the customer. You know, we haven't really found a customer yet to lease the lines yet. Some of them may want a number of fibers and a local provider doesn't have those available. So it presents another option for economic development. If somebody wants to come here to the community, they say we need 4 fibers to lease. We got 48 available. If they're not in use, we can extend the. So the resolution is mostly just kind of a regulatory checkbox because we're using an asset that we built for energy delivery to help kind of solve it for internet development.
You'll also notice in your packet that this has been endorsed by the Iowa League of Cities, who worked in partnership to come up with this idea. Any other questions for Mike? If not, I'll consider, okay.
Second.
Roll call, please. Mike, or Tom, want to start?
Aye.
Okay. Resolution approved. Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 8, discussion and possible motion concerning Dean Hartman's request to have his sewer charge lowered. I don't see that Dean is here, but in your packet, you have correspondence from him. Brian, can you maybe just explain what actually happened there?
I don't know. I guess I didn't read that.
Oh, okay. Not familiar with.
I believe Stacy said that he does not have city water. He has a private well. And, but we do meter it.
Oh, you meter the well water?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And, then charge sewer based on the meter.
I got you.
Reading.
Is that common? I thought you just
No.
get a flat rate for the sewer.
It's more uncommon to be flat rate. We might only have one of those.
Okay.
And you can see his bill only has garbage, sewer debt.
Yeah, you can definitely tell at the bottom there's a
Yeah.
it went from like 3,000 gallons to 11,000.
I was confused by you said nothing went into some. So nothing.
I guess said it was leaking, draining into a sump pit and it was injecting it. That's how he noticed. It's just sump pit kept running. That's kind of what I took from the email.
The well pit.
The well, or sorry, yeah, well pit.
Well
Yeah.
pit.
Sort of well.
Yeah, it's got a pump in the well pit.
Well pit sump.
So it's not the house, so it's well.
Well, that's-
This way
And it was pumping it, and he's saying it pumped into the ground and it didn't enter our sewer system.
Yeah.
It's the owner's responsibility once the water meter, from the water meter into the house, right? So that was the issue, something.
So that meter's gotta be in the wall pit wherever it comes out.
Well, if he's got a well, he don't have a meter because it's running off the
Well,
well.
their meter.
He has a
Sure, he has
meter,
a meter, he has a meter.
he has a meter somewhere, I don't know.
Charge sewer, it's gotta be right at the well pit, right where it's coming out there.
Oh, I see what you're
Because the
saying.
water was.
Yeah, then it'd be right in the well pit itself, yeah.
Some argument is he wasn't drawing the water, but we charged.
He wasn't discharging the water.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
We charge for his house, you see the shit based on that.
and he's saying that reading it correctly, because
That really didn't go into his house, it's how it did go in there.
it was leaked into the well.
I know back on the farm, we had a different pit. 50 foot, 70 foot from the house, so. 4 on a well. So maybe it's kind of similar deal, I don't know.
It's how much more, 550.
50,
Citizens, but
Well, it went up 80, but I think he took 30 off because his normal bill is 22 to 28 bucks, the way I had looked at it. There's 8709 and
I guess that'd be something for Brian or whomever to investigate, because I mean, he's just saying that it didn't enter our system. Do we actually have any way of confirming that?
separate,
So he's just asking for $50.
Yeah.
So I don't feel it might be in our best interest to spend a lot of staff time to investigate.
Right.
It might end up costing us more than the $50, but it's up to the council as to what you'd like.
We
to
can
do.
see where his usage trends for that year and get that one out of month.
In that case, I got $50 worth of water that went into the ground too.
I mean, I sympathize with getting water in the basement because I got that T-shirt, was not a cheap one, and but it's unfortunate that failed. But that's not the city's responsibility because that failed. I mean, I know it's only $50, but
well, and the fact is, it is only $50. There's been people that have had something happen and their bill has gone up hundreds of dollars.
and they paid it.
Yeah.
What is the precedent behind this that we've done?
The city does, that I'm aware of, has not forgiven, they can have, they're offered even before this stage. A payment plan, and we have had people enter payment plans before. It's been, I think, years since somebody came and asked for a charge to be dropped, but I don't believe we ever do.
The last charge that was asked to be dropped was garbage related.
Oh,
not
yeah,
sewer related.
and we took her to court.
Well, I wasn't at that part.
Or the proof.
And we went.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, if
Something
if it was something that we can verify that was our fault,
If
then
it's a
yeah,
whole house,
Absolutely, yeah.
then we
yeah.
were involved in it, but we were not involved in it.
We've done
Okay.
studies for, see if meters were wrong or stuff, I know over the years, auditing the meters because they think that their usage is high. Turns out being a leaky
Yeah, there's
toilet seal or something.
two ways we can go about that, but we've been finding 99% of the time we're answering it over the phone now.
Yeah.
Or face to face if they not comfortable trying it themselves, so.
Yeah, our most recent inquiry was due to a water softener situation, and it did amount to hundreds of dollars. But that resident decided to opt for a payment plan rather than come before the council and ask for anything.
The water drop just got discharged or something.
I don't remember the details, but it was
Yeah.
related to the water
Too
softener.
frequently,
Mhm.
usually.
Yeah, recycle.
That's either the timer breaks or something, and it goes like every day, and it wants to keep cycling it. Before you know it, it's a lot.
The toilets have been the other thing.
Okay, council,
What Dan said, I would piggyback our precedents is we have not made an exception and fortunately it's only $50.
Okay, so no motion to consider them. Okay. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 9, which is a public hearing regarding the designation of expanded Fairfax urban renewal area and proposed urban renewal plan amendment. I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Cynthia, have we received any written or verbal comments?
I have not.
And then Cynthia can explain the details of this.
This is, expanding the urban renewal area just a little bit to make sure that it includes all of the intersection project at West Cemetery and the highway. And then adding, the intersection project and any of the TIF eligible, projects that were in that last bond, into our plan. So that you can then levy for TIF money to pay for them.
So any discussion or questions for Cynthia during the public hearing? I think we have any public present or any comments? Everyone good? All right, we'll close the public hearing. Move on to item number 10. To consider the resolution to declare necessity to establish an urban renewal area. Consider a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Move on to item number 11. Consider resolution to enter into a professional service agreement with Holland Hall for Heartland Heights Park restrooms and pavilion. Looks like John's gonna talk about this.
All right, so this is just the contract and help facilitate the RFP process to get a design build contractor on board for the restroom and pavilion, construction admin, put a quick little site plan together, so on. So I did for their contract or scope.
If you remember, you have the money on hand for the Heartland Heights Pavilion and restrooms from previous bond money.
Any questions for John? Not, consider a motion.
Motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Was that with bathrooms?
Yes. Bathrooms and a pavilion.
Oh, yeah.
Item number 12, consider resolution to accept the work, approve accounting change order, and approve the final payment for the elevated water storage tank painting, maintenance, and repairs. This is a little involved, so listen carefully.
Yeah. So it's been about 4 months since we sent the contractor the final pay application that's included. The accounting for all the liquidated damages. And June 4th is when I sent it for their signature. Of course, they responded back. They were gonna protest it. Get an attorney to look into the liquidated damages, read up on our contract, general conditions, all that stuff, and they were gonna submit a letter justifying the lowering of the damages. So we waited, nothing from anyone's attorney. Checked in with about 5-6 weeks ago. Told them we need this letter by, I think it was September 12th. Nothing came on September 12th. They had sent just a quick summary of their justification email, or the contract did, not their attorney, and it wasn't good enough. So we consulted with the city attorney to see what our next steps are instead of just waiting around more. And they suggested that we just follow through with the formal project closeout procedure, accepting the work, the balancing change order, approving the final payment and issuing that check for the $5,500 and some change that we still owe. Doesn't mean they won't turn around and still submit a letter or try to continue their protest, but this was the safest option moving forward, according to the city attorney. So, any questions?
So it's 5483.28 is the final payment.
The net
Yeah.
amount.
Yeah.
Like $91,000 and something liquidated damages.
Well, guess they should have got off their ass, womp womp.
You know?
That includes that antenna too, that was going.
Yeah, there was a few that repairing the driveway, repairing the sod. And then there was 2 different contract liquidated damage terms. $1,000 a day for the first 30 days after substantial completion date, which was like October 20th of last year. And then an additional $500 a day after that 30-day window was up. And that added, so $1,500 a day after that. It was compound. And if you recall, in the spring, we told them right before they were going to show back up that we would, if they got done by May 12th or 13th, then for the spring work alone, we would ignore the prep days that they used in the spring to get going, which we did. And then we ended up being 2 or 3 days or something that we knocked off for them since they got done by then. And yeah.
So cement work's all done. Antennas back up, we're all.
Yeah, everything's functioning. Yeah, we approved the work. It's work met the specs, so.
Seems cut and dried, I'll motion to accept the work.
Just,
and
sorry, the days, the day fees, this was their contract initially, was it? That
we wrote the contract and the general conditions as part of the project manual that we sent.
When they bid on it, that contract is there for them to use. So if they don't like the contract, they don't have to put a bid.
no, I get that. I'm just thinking, is it something that they originated initially? It's like they 100% knew what they were getting into because it was their contract.
The city utilized Dixon Engineer, and it's pretty much a standard that they use for all the water companies that they use. Pretty standard.
Yeah, it's EJCDC is the format, which is a nationwide engineering joint document committee or something. It's a pretty standard contract and general conditions, and there's no surprises to it. So
that's all they got with invoices for the other things. So.
They signed the contract. It boils down to they knew going into it. So
and to clarify a little bit, John mentioned coordinating with them to get us something. Indicated that they were not in agreement with the liquidated damage amount, and we said, provide us that information and come to the council and explain it. If you just provide it, it's going to work better if you actually present it. And then they did send us something a month ago or 5 weeks ago, but it was just, we disagree with this, and there's no specifics, like it should be 20 days instead of 40 days or whatever.
Yeah,
and this is why, and this, should be reduced by 50,000 or whatever. It was just, we disagree with it. Like, we need more than you just disagree with it. We need a number, we need a reason to support those numbers, and they never provided.
yeah. One of their claims was weather related, and when they summarized the weather justifications, Dixon had spelled out there's a very specific way to make weather claims. You have to look up, obviously, the National Weather Service's history on a given day, the last 3 years, do some math, and you have to submit it. So it specifically says in the contract, if you go past the contract completion date, you can't retroactively say, hey, wait, it was raining on that day. You can only claim weather days during the contract period. Well, this is 6 months later, they finally sent us some weather related stuff. They didn't even follow the procedure that Dixon spelled out. And I told them that, I'm like, they're going to follow that procedure and justify why you're not following it. Among other things, so.
So we have a motion on the floor.
Second.
Roll call, please. Tom?
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 13, resolution to enter a service agreement for the lease skid loader and mini excavator. Lynn, is there anything you need to say about this, or Brian going to?
Questions, I need to go for it.
Minion skids here.
I tried to put a good explanation in there.
Was your lease last time 24 months for $2,000?
We were.
The same thing we did in previous machines.
So they approached me about it because that's the new equipment with the new ID numbers.
Right.
You guys want to do it again? And so I'm just.
I was just curious, that was your standard term last time, $2,000, 24 months.
Yes.
What do you guys put on for hours? Just curious.
They're under 500 a year. The skid loader got a bunch here lately for the projects we were doing, but many of them still.
But average now.
Oh yeah, there's otherwise we'd get docked if it was more than 500 a year.
Right.
On the lease agreement. So we've been under it every time for both pieces.
So Brian's explanation is in the packet.
Basically, if we do this, it's just sets a little cheaper rate to do it instead of having them come out and charge us the on-site price. We get charged the shop price. In short, because it's guaranteed for them, so they just pay attention and let us know when it's time, and they make arrangements to come do it. And that's the other thing, they come here to do it, and we don't have to go take it there.
We've been doing it before I was ever hired here. The previous guys, even before me, was doing it with them and having them come out.
We just didn't have the service agreement.
So it's a little higher.
Yeah, they've been doing it ever since I've been here. It's just, we never had an agreement for the lower rate, that's all.
Any other questions for Brian? If not, entertain a motion to enter into the service agreement.
Second.
Roll call, please, Nick.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 14, discussion of Iowa Land and Buildings preliminary plat and development agreement. This is part of our ongoing discussions. I think we're headed towards hopefully something close to being final at the November meeting, but in the meantime, Shane has lots of input and some items in your pack.
Yeah, so just kind of a follow-up from our special meeting a couple of weeks ago. We had different projects. Maggie had run some preliminary numbers, Maggie Berger. There were infrastructure projects that would anticipate that we needed to support the Big Cedar Industrial Center. And so we updated that. So again, if you want to pull up that spreadsheet that I highlighted. Some numbers, but
You'll have to tell me if it's the right one.
yeah.
That one? Oh, first time.
So, we had some numbers, we had some planning cost estimates for the infrastructure projects, which we kind of went through in detail 2 weeks ago. So based on conversations and, we've gotten the turn lane, projects from the traffic analysis right after we've done our initial summary for the infrastructure project. So we added these in there. We put years on, assuming the 10-year build out, 20-year long-term build out. We just put, anticipated years that these projects would be needed. What's the inflation costs on the project costs that are out past 2026. This little table that kind of shows the project costs and then broken down into city's responsibility, Iowa land and building responsibilities or other responsibilities based on the development and building plan. So the items highlighted in yellow, then we sent that over to Meg. And she, plugged in those years, and then the city's responsibility, the cost for the city's responsibility for those projects. And then she shot over something late today.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see that?
No.
Yeah. Maybe probably around 4:30, 4:05.
Okay.
Just kind of summarizing that. So. Okay. I printed out one sheet to look at, if you have questions, but I imagine you have other questions, so.
I don't know, I don't think the numbers changed a lot. Based on what
Maggie provided, Cynthia, maybe I'll plug a little bit more, the emails on there and then the breakdown.
and I don't know if you included the additional revenue from the regen in that or not. But
So what we asked her to do is put in regens, because that's already on the tax roll. She didn't have that before. And then bump a couple of the things another year, late start. That when she had it. So again, looking at her new projection, and again, this is the first time I'm looking at it, but the lowest that the unused TIF money goes to is 528, 459. And refresh my memory, she added some costs like for the churn lane, right?
Yeah, she had the cost for the turn lanes and then for the projects that, because the original was we just did it 2026. Initially, but then we put years on, so if it was done in 2030, we put 2026 cost, but then inflated it 4 years.
Right.
So.
So that's using some higher numbers, and again, like in 24, it's 1,000,006, 1,000,006, 1,000,007, 1,000,001, 1,000,002, a million, and then the 1 year it drops down to 528, then starts to go up 757, 938. And that's even without, so that's when the sanitary sewer, some of those other projects in 2030 kick in, but they're only going to kick in if they have more building out there. So the TIF increment's going to raise. So those aren't going to be accurate numbers, because if there isn't more building, we won't be having to do those projects. So and then all the other ones are 1,000,006 to over 2 million in her projection.
So then, back on the sheet that's up on the screen, one of the items that council asked us to look at was if we improve 76th Avenue to 3 lanes from Left Beer Road over roughly 2/3 to 3/4 of the length of the road. That's the second line on that list. It's not highlighted in yellow. So the items that were highlighted in yellow, like I mentioned, we gave that to Maggie to run the numbers. So we just gave her the full project for the higher cost. But the line right underneath is the second one, it's labeled as an alternate. That would be the cost estimate, planning cost estimate, $3,260,000. If the city wanted to move forward with doing 76th Avenue to Maple Grove and stopping there. Now on the bottom, I added that in, finishing it out to the city's corporate limits. And put it in 10 years. I mean, it may be 20 years, I don't know, but from a planning standpoint, I just maxed everything out in 10 years. And obviously you got inflation, you got, participation. I don't know how that would be handled with Iowa land and development. Probably would not get any participation in one county. We're not getting much anyways, but we probably wouldn't get any. So long-term costs, that would be more expensive than doing it all from a construction standpoint, but initially it would be less cost, obviously, by about 1.8 million. Give or take. And then the other thing was, we had the special meeting 2 weeks ago. And the next morning in the paper, so on Tuesday, 2 weeks ago, Cedar Rapids approved basically an agreement from another data center for the rest of their sites. Basically, they've got commitments to fill out their complete Big Cedar Industrial Center on the Cedar Rapids side. And so I reached out to Kenny Kaiser, and the email may be in the packet.
It is.
Just saying, okay, I see, got something going on. They're looking at pursuing a RISE grant to improve 76th Avenue. What is the city's plans for improving 76th Avenue at this point? So they don't know exactly. I mean, they're still in planning phases, but they are looking at improving it. Want to get a RISE grant. They would do it as a 3-lane like we're talking about. Whether or not it comes all the way to the city, the corporate limits that the city share, he doesn't specify at this time, but. So I know that was a concern of council too, as well. What's the time we build it out there, and Cedar Rapids doesn't. This kind of indicates it's more likely to happen on Cedar Rapids side sooner than later, but there's no hard date that we're gonna have it in by 2027. But there's obviously stuff going on the Cedar Rapids side, so.
Regarding Cedar Rapids improvements to 76, and tell me if I'm dreaming, but if we built out to Maple Grove, that saves us, like you said, about 1.8 million. If we approach Cedar Rapids when they're doing their 76 improvements to their boundary, if we approach them about continuing to build it to the end of our improvements at Maple Grove, would that be a cost savings ultimately, since they're doing it all at once? And we'd obviously do a cost share with our portion of it, but would you see any reduced cost in design, material, labor, etc.? Because then you can tie, because the whole point is tying this in 76 Cedar Rapids side of things. So it's one continuous improvement. We don't want to build a road to nowhere, for the lack of a better term, and they might not build it for a long time. So instead,
hooking in with their project
when they've decided whatever timetable that might be to finish off the last portion of our responsibility on 76.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely an option. It's hard to say from a cost savings. I would think Cedar Rapids would say, yeah, we'll do it, and then you'll just pay for a quarter mile or whatever they can pay for those costs. I don't think Cedar Rapids would have a problem with that. I can't think of a specific cost savings.
I don't expect it.
Add-ons to it, but
I would like to think there'd be some cost savings.
Mobilization and whatever,
but
well,
how much is it gonna be? I don't know.
If they were to extend, so if Fairfax extended to Maple Road, and then you got a quarter mile, and then Cedar Rapids doesn't do anything for 5 years after that, then they extend it. If they stopped at the property line, and then Fairfax came and did that last quarter mile, yeah, there'd be a cost savings, I think, to have Cedar Rapids just do the whole thing instead of Fairfax doing just a quarter mile. Obviously, the more pavement, the more construction you do, the better you can price it. So yeah, there'll be a cost savings from that standpoint.
That was kind of my initial thought, is as much as I like to dog on Cedar Rapids sometimes, it just seems to make more sense is to put that last quarter mile if we're trying to cut a little off our CIT, 2 million, and I know we're gonna pay more when they do the last quarter mile, but if we coordinate with them, I'd like to think that they would. It wouldn't be too ridiculous, and it'd be slightly less than the projected, possibly up to 3 million for that last stretch down the road. That's my thinking, at least. The one time I'd be like, yes, you represent will help with that last quarter mile, because then it actually makes sense, because they're doing the whole thing from Edgewood to Maple Grove in this example. 3-lane, is that 33 feet or 41 feet?
41 feet.
I think it's the same.
3 lanes is 41 feet. That's back.
So with the new data center presumably going in, the traffic that's going to be going up and down 76 on the Cedar Rapids side. Is there a need, obviously this is a guess for Cedar Rapids, but is there a need to do a 41 instead of 33 feet?
I think that's what Ken had indicated, that they would do a 3 lane. Yeah, we want to put 3 lane urban.
I think as it develops out, and also so all the teenagers from Fairfax hauling ass right down that drag strip to Prairie, so they have something to pass.
And so to Mike's point, if we went to Maple Grove and then waited until they build out, there's potential where the 41 foot is going to get used on the Fairfax side for the industrial that we're going to have bigger equipment. But if it's not needed, there's not a lot of jobs, there's not a lot of heavy equipment going in and out of those 2 data centers. I'm guessing no zero about it, but if they go down to a 31 foot, 33 foot, then you just transition it down.
Yeah, we just transition down.
Yeah.
I don't think that's their plan, but.
I really think they're gonna continue to do a lot of the commercial development that you see along 76 between Edgewood and what would that be, 6th Street? Going, you know,
Yes.
going east. So, you know, it used to be just Nordstrom's, and now that I can't remember the, you know, company names, but you see a lot of that kind of larger commercial development. I would like to think that they're gonna, they're gonna project to develop a lot of that on what would be the south side of 76.
Yeah, across from the data centers.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
But going to
Their future land use map as well as our cultural industrial in this area.
Because that's kind of like, for me personally, that's kind of what I envision, at least on the Fairfax side, is the development of those styles of buildings, or, you know, various iterations of conversion and regen and energon and all that shenanigans. But I see a lot of that development along 76 over the next couple decades.
The airport has planned for an additional runway on the other side of Wright Brothers Boulevard at the corner of Edgewood and Wright Brothers, so. That will
So
take
on the east side of
where Wright Brothers,
Edgewood,
where Wright Brothers is now, I think it's gonna be where another runway is going. Or just south or north of it. We're gonna have to reroute Wright Brothers Boulevard again.
They built it up at the intersection. Originally, they were thinking about doing the runway over the boatway.
Yeah, they're still talking, yeah.
Burying it.
That's why it was built up in that intersection.
Yep.
So, on the north side.
How about with this data center proposed, the second one, how's that gonna affect water? I know there's no specific plans, but we're back into that.
The article said that Google uses water, this one is not Google, and this one uses like refrigerant coolant that it really only needs, like when it shuts down and restarts, it needs water. It doesn't use nearly the water is what the article said. I
So potentially there's no issue. Potentially.
everything works in theory.
Yeah, exactly. So Cynthia, you know, Mike's thoughts, city could use TIF if in the future to reimburse Cedar Rapids, if that's obviously pursued, because they.
As long as the TIF clock hasn't ran out.
But we could use quite a bit of tip for up to Maple Grove, right?
I guess the other question about that would be is if when Iowa land development wanted to develop lot 8 for Sierra.
I was gonna say.
Then you have to.
Well, if they build on all, was it lot, it'd be lot 2 through 8.
1 through 7.
1 through 7. Well, isn't one gonna be for the
One is virgin, then choose between virgin and barrel.
the fuel pellet thing? I can't keep those names straight. The fuel pellet thing. So they're gonna build the fuel pellet thing. If they develop 2 through 8 or 2 through 7, excuse me, that we would have to verify that tip. And then when does that clock start?
The first time that we asked for money for that area.
Okay.
Can I just try to get in my mind why you want to only take it part of the way? I'm trying to figure out the benefits from living in my mind.
For me personally, the two reasons, and I probably said this for 9 years in a row, we keep kicking other road improvements, primarily Vanderbilt and Church Street, that intersection, and maybe down the road. I think I don't want to be one of those people that build a road to nowhere and then it never develops for a long period of time. And then we spent 13 million on a very nice 40-foot one road that ends in gravel.
That's
Excuse me, let me reduce it down to 11 million.
no, that's not all road.
That's what left me.
That's okay, road improvements.
Road improvements is the 4, 5.
Yeah, but I'm talking about.
Sewer improvement and some water.
How about the entire project? When I came through that, the entire project. That's a lot of money for something that may or may not go.
Well, a lot of that won't happen unless it has developed.
I get that they're not gonna build it and be like, hey, that's fine, that you're screwing up our parking and access as you build the road and the necessary infrastructure improvements. But when I look to go, I don't know, I just don't see.
But the lift station won't happen unless there's more development. And the other second water, so those are some of those costs in there. Won't happen unless there is other development.
The gamble for me is what's gonna go there and how soon and how big of a road do we need? And you build it, they will come, question mark. I mean, you build it, you hope they will come.
I mean,
I mean, Cedar Rapids is as certain as they can that they've already got theirs filled and they're gonna build the 41.
Yeah.
I don't know why we wouldn't follow the traffic study recommendation. And think of what that land looked like, 4 years ago, or, how fast it really is already happening. But
We already have, the alternate is everything up to Maple Road, which gives a little bit of room going east for this whole development to
what I'm trying to get in my mind, and you can just tell me to shut up, is what is the benefit of stopping there? Because it's not coming from the same pocket that Vanderbilt is. I'm sorry, but it's not, it can't. And if we only build part of it, Lynn County is giving us what?
Well, that's just a percentage.
Yeah,
I don't
less.
know. I reach out to Lane County, because I don't want to confuse them with what else.
Right. The other people's contributions go down as well as our costs. And then when you do eventually finish it, it's gonna be more expensive. I mean, that's a guarantee.
Load all factored into these numbers.
We talked about doing it as a annual appropriation, so only 1 year's payment counts against your geodebt limit. But I'm just trying from the finance person's perspective, trying to understand.
And I understand the appropriation, but I think what I was thinking is, this is all majority or good portion geodebt, correct? I mean, there's gonna be TIF involved, there's gonna be participation from other entities involved, but a good portion of this is geodebt, correct?
Well, we would propose the road to be geodebt, but an annual appropriation.
Is a possibility.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, is if people I was talking about the improvement at the church in Vanderbilt, that is also geodebt. Correct?
Right, but it's not being paid with the same pocket.
What pocket are you? I guess that's what I'm trying to.
The Vanderbilt isn't gonna come out of TIF.
Right, but. How much of this would be coming out of TIF, like $1?
All of the city's portion. And like I said, you still have excess TIF money available. In paying for all of that with TIF, the lowest you get is 528,000, and that's with no additional building. And I don't have a vote. I'm just trying to understand it from the finance person's perspective.
So really the savings would be what could be there by piggybacking on Cedar Rapids, assuming that they finish it in time, that we don't run out of TIF. And then costs haven't accelerated past what that extra extension would be.
And money hasn't built out that time period.
Yeah.
There's, I'm just saying, could be used for.
But then you have.
Oh, that's right.
It's not the same, area,
How much do you assess that for online?
about 36%.
Do you have to spend the online
Well, you have to put it aside
Aside, yeah.
and make it available for,
for project?
you have to write a plan of what you think would be good LMI projects, and then you have to put that.
And we currently don't have anything that qualifies.
That's what I'm saying, so.
The things that we have done in the Heartland Heights area, we are not paying back with TIF. We're making a.
Yeah, but we've done everything in our power to not activate element.
Other things can you share, Shane?
That's really the main things, was that putting together a time frame and anticipated costs for each infrastructure improvement and breaking out the 76 improvements, and then just kind of the timing, we'll see what happens. Still don't know exact timing, but we did get a little bit more information based off, that story. Yeah, but and so those are the three main things that I think that we talked about 2 weeks ago.
And I think your position, Cynthia, your opinion is any money saved by backing off CRAC last quarter mile, that saves less than if we did it all at once.
Right, it would still be more money than the 4 or 5 that we're projecting now. Because the costs are gonna go up. It would be cheaper than us just doing a standalone from where we're in to our, yeah, right. But it wouldn't be a savings on our projection now. And remember also last meeting, Shane talked about the actual staging of the construction. If you wait till they say, oh, well, we've got somebody that wants to go into whatever lots along there, you need it in now. Well, then you got them building, you got us doing the street, and then you probably got us doing the sanitary sewer and the water, all of it is then at one time. Right, Shane? I don't want to put words in your mouth. But...
No, that's correct.
But just so I understand, this is not the alternate, the 1.13 million. 3.7 of it, the sanitary sewer and lift is only when lot 7 develops.
Whatever, Shane will tell you what lots.
Whatever.
So like the lift station?
Yeah.
Be when anything, so lots 1 and 2 are along the road, 1 would be the site. And 2 would be where,
yeah.
So they would be serviced with the sewer and water that would be extended down the road. So really, I mean, if lot 1 build starts building next year, lot 2 goes in shortly thereafter, to see that not to do anything further. But when anything lots 3 through 8, so east of lots 1 and 2 are developed, that's when they have to put in the sewer and lift station. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be primarily it. And then a couple of years after that, you kind of look at the whole other stuff. And this is the plan. You try to guess the best one. If the turn lanes keep getting to the point that there's not much traffic, then we just look at it and say, it's really not needed, put it off. Second turn lane, I think it's 740,000 estimated out in 5 or 6 years, something like that. You don't need it.
Well, and then this is a turn lane too, the one.
Yeah, and then the last one, 10 years out is where we improved left beer all the way between 76 and the South View Road to the continuous left turn.
Would you want a southbound left turn lane? You want to try to direct traffic coming from the south for equipment rather than coming through here to see.
It's basically like converge and whoever could go in on 2 To their left, it would be split onto 76th Avenue. Again. 70 years out.
Yeah, my thought is just less traffic coming through Fairfax and on our streets and everything. You can keep them coming south up into the industrial, but.
Shane, this was discussion topic only. Do you need any guidance from the council to move forward with anything?
No, I don't think we need any decisions tonight. I think. I landed building wants to try to get the development agreement finalized for next month. So if you do that, I guess it would be, the wording is going to kind of hinge on how far we take up 76. Take 76 to participation. They would be responsible for. So I guess some direction on that would be helpful. Otherwise, we have that conversation and then kind of leave the language for the development agreement. I know Convergence wanted to kind of piggyback on that, but kind of go back on the development agreement with them just because there's, but if you don't know, that's some time. If council's comfortable making a decision tonight, that would be helpful. If not, discussion, and we may not get things finalized in the development.
I think reaching was or those guys were okay with the alternate or all through the fact that you moved into Maple Grove. It's not what their thought was.
Yeah, I don't think they
still go.
I don't think they would have much concern on how far the city wants to take it. It just impacts participation that they would have. This, council like that. And it's just you prorated or then how do you participate in 50%? Last quarter mile, 1,000 people, whatever it is. We have some sort of participation tied to that.
Council, you can provide guidance. Just one council member, that's up to you.
In my opinion, Mary Ann, I'd like Mary Ann to be involved with my
Good, strong opinion one way or the other.
me. Yeah, that really.
I think we should do the whole road.
Yeah,
But it's not that.
very fun. You gotta say that.
Anyway, it makes sense to do it all at once. but
I would
understand the concept.
lean, at first I was doing partial, I leaned slightly more towards doing it all at once. For overall savings.
At 41 foot.
It's just, yeah, we just have to explain to people where these revenues are from. And I think it can explain that. The hard part.
Yeah, I think that's vital, is to communicate. Whether it be in your conversations with residents or in the newsletter or, whatever we could do.
Yeah. There's probably one tip.
What is it?
Lots of cat.
So, I guess they have to look at that TIF renewal thing. And at the last meeting, we spent quite a bit of time on it. I got a lot of information simply before going to the meeting, because this is the second time we've been doing a urban renewal TIF through PNC. There, and I am obviously starting to understand it where a year ago we didn't. So I agree, we need to communicate, the city needs to communicate more what it does and how it works. Now there's not really incurred cost of using $10. Because once that's explained, especially PNC, once they understood it, they're on board. That had to do with this intersection over here. The cemetery, so. Definitely lacking that knowledge out there.
It's complicated. It's hard.
It's very complicated, yeah.
It's complicated, but it's a very powerful finance tool for cities to get big projects that would we have 4 point whatever it is, it's in our pocket to do? No. Without a huge property tax increase. I mean, we have done so many projects in town. The whole complex was built with it. You can really make improvements to your community. Yeah, you have to plan and watch and get info from your financial advisor, make sure that you're not, going beyond your tip time and the tip expected dollars. But this is exactly, and talking to the bonding attorney, this is exactly the kinds of projects that industrial growth tip should pay for.
Well, I know you explained everything last 2 weeks ago too, and a lot of it went through my head. However, you changed it a little bit. Your verbiage helps me to understand a little bit better. So when I asked about Vanderbilt, why not? And so I need a little bit. But
especially with the ability to do annual appropriation. It makes such a difference in your geo debt limit, and we have geo debt limit available, but I think it's wiser if you're not going to see a spike in rate we did last time, is to use that tool and give yourself some options.
So Shane, did you end up with what you need?
It sounds like. So. The last question I have then is if that's something that you think you want to pursue, at least, be part of it or all of it, you want to have a start design on it. Because if it is 2026 construction, that means we need to have it out for bids next year. There's going to be some easement right of way acquisitions. There's going to be building. Some of that stuff takes time. So, from our standpoint, when we look at it, get into November, that's fine. But in December, January, it's hard for us to go out and build those. Now we're into March, April to get it. But we can get to go ahead at least start to feel that it's like the number that's right. We get that before it starts to start to feel like that. So we start working property. So just something to think about if you want to at least give us direction next month to go and start doing some survey work.
And remember when Iowa Land and Building was here last month, they actually stated that they would like to get the answers about the utility placements and, that taken care of sooner than later.
the only thing for me is good. That's what I believe.
She does have a strong opinion on the situation.
Do you want to have another special, or do you just want to do it in November?
Hello, crickets?
Does it have to be, I mean, I would say, I would probably start putting out the feelers for all the way, but I mean, if council feels that we should do we need to do a motion on that? I mean, we will, no.
No, but at some point when they give their design contract, you're gonna have to make, when you see the development agreement, it's gonna have some specifics in there, you're gonna need to make a motion to.
But not really a motion to start putting out like the initial,
You're not gonna be,
Not tonight.
yeah.
I'd probably say move forward.
Okay.
Guess Mary Ann should been here, got more important than.
Well, it's good conversation. I appreciate all.
Yes, we're beefing in.
What's that?
Oh, wait.
Oh, somebody's calling my phone.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right, sure.
That's my daughter.
all right. Let's move on to item number 15. Consider resolution approving the TIF certification forms for fiscal year 26. Cynthia?
So, the very first thing you did a month or 2 months ago was do the annual appropriation, payment. That was the very first fiscal 26. This is the second thing to do for fiscal 26 is setting your TIF asking. And that's just what these forms do, and I have to have them to Lynn County before December 1.
Any questions for Cynthia? If not, need a motion, please.
Where the errors. So one that errors at the bottom, right?
In the, so I had decertified, let's see. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Hang on a minute. I think it's this page. Yes, I can read it. Okay, so if we so how do I explain it? So if we have a loan that is 100% TIF eligible, okay, and then when we put it on these pages, when it's a brand new debt, we put all the principal, interest, and fees on, okay? Let's take, for example, the loan that paid for Heartland Heights water and sewer and other things. So that was TIF eligible, but we made a conscious decision not to use TIF to make those payments so that it wouldn't kick in LMI. So anytime that a payment is made from another source on that loan that we had certified the full amount, then we have to decertify the amount that we had paid. And this year, I really went through multiple years of TIF certification and decertification, and there were 3 adjustments that too much had been decertified. So I'm just correcting. So Lynn County keeps a running total. So when we do a new loan, they add all this money that we could ask for. And then when I put it on here to decertify, they take it out of the total. And so they just make sure never do we certify more than this big pile of money that they say we can ask for in TIF. And since we only ask for our current payment, we're never close to the total, because at any time you can ask for 100% of your principal, interest, and fees, but you know, that would be crazy. You wouldn't have any extra TIF that you're not using then. So that's corrections from those 3 fiscal years when truly I probably didn't 100% understand the decertification as much those fiscal years, but I took several days to go through this dollar by dollar. You can see even a $68 adjustment was made. So.
Any other questions for Cynthia? Need a motion?
Motion. Second.
Roll call, please. Nick?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 16, consider resolution for the fiscal 24 annual urban renewal report. Cynthia again.
So this again is TIF related, but this is now looking back at the fiscal year that just ended. What we just did was for the next fiscal year. So this is about fiscal 24. And we have to show them everything that we took in and everything that we spent and all the projects that we've got that are TIF eligible. And this is an annual report that's due by December 1 also.
Any questions for Cynthia?
Motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 17. Amending an ordinance regarding water service. I'll let Cynthia explain this one.
Right, so the next 1, 2, 3, 4 things are us going through and just trying to make sure that what we currently do is document, I'm preparing for the administrator so that everything's in place. Now, they may want to change something or suggest a change once they get here, but at least what we're currently doing is all documented. And actually, it was a ClerkNet email asking about what we do for, the outside meters, you know, we only bill 6 months. And I told them our policy, what we did, and then they said, well, do you have your code that says that? Sure. Wait a minute. That wasn't in the code. I could not find it. I asked Stacy and we looked together. And so this is just putting in the code, the section about the second meters. And I mean, everything else that we do about the installation, the cost and the rate, that's all the same. But we don't charge sewer because they're not hooked up to the sewer, and we only bill them 6 months of the year. So that's what this is adding. It's not changing anything except the code to be what we are currently doing.
So unless there's questions for Cynthia on this not a revision, but addition, consider a motion to introduce and approve the first reading.
Just curious, has anyone like provided feedback that they don't like their April bill? If there's.
Most people have some usage, because they don't disconnect the meter. They can use water after we take that reading in September. You know, like it's still dry and they may still be watering something. We just don't bill it until April then.
And no one's, he's asking, does anybody complain about that? Cause I was thinking the same thing that, I mean, it's been unseasonably warm, so we stopped billing in September. I know there's still people out there watering right now.
Yeah.
And if they have a second meter, then they're just gonna get a bigger bill.
Yeah, and typically, even if they use it during the winter somewhat, it's not a big bill because it has no sewer in it, you know, most of the time. I would think the great majority of the second meters are at the minimum or below, so I mean, it's not a big bill, but no.
You put the water usage on it, those off months, just no dollar amount. So I can see it ticking.
So, no, we don't even read them until April.
All right.
Yep. She makes them inactive.
I have a second water meter and that's minimum line changes in April.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Now consider a motion to introduce and approve the first reading.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Moving on, do you want to consider suspending the rules or passage at 2 more council meetings?
Motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, now I need a motion to consider the final passage and adoption.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Vote.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 18, the electronic communication policy.
So, we've been having kind of an on and off conversation about, the next one is social media. So that's Facebook or email policy. And again, we looked at then the social media policy hadn't been updated since, was it 15 or 15?
Dictates pager usage.
So, so in the personnel policy, there's an electronic policy clear at the end, and all I did was, 2 of the sections seem to be, open it, conflicting. So we took out,
Like 10 and 11.
yeah, and then, kept everything else the same. Why won't this scroll down?
Look on the page, maybe.
Do that now.
Are you using just the arrow?
Arrow key.
Sometimes I have that,
Use your keyboard arrow key, maybe.
or even the arrow on the scroll bar. Maybe you're posted.
Yeah, I already tried that.
Electronic communication.
All right, so anyway, we just took out a section and left everything else the same. And again, this is making the policy be like we do it now. And then again, if the administrator wants to dive into it and make more modifications, but really if you read the whole thing, that which we are taking out is in conflict of the very next section, so.
Like chapter, I mean, must have been a chapter.
Okay. So, need a motion to adopt this revision on the personnel policy.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Aye.
Okay, number 19, revision of social media policy. This is going to get activated by some internal discussions and as to what we think should be happening. So we've documented what is currently happening for your review.
So Joe has made some posts on Facebook about like if the guest bartenders were doing a fundraiser for the fire department, so he put that on there. Or the guest bartenders were doing for a nonprofit. He hasn't put on there if they were doing it for their personal gain. And Joanne questioned that she felt that city Facebook should only be city events. And Joe had a different opinion, and I kind of saw both sides, and I said, well, why don't we just write the policy, look at the policy, write it like we do it, and then let the council decide if that's how this is how we are currently doing it. And if you're all right with that, or if you want to make changes and then come back next month, or again, just get it how we're doing it, and then have it be maybe a bigger question for the administrator if they want to change it. So what we are allowing then is that it's to promote city events and civic coalition events, and promote the civic coalition and their events, as well as nonprofit and their events. And then currently in our for our welcome packet partners, we post on Facebook about the featured business. I think all the partners are businesses right now. So we're even doing it for a commercial, like on Facebook and on our website, for whoever's the featured business that month, as part of their benefit that they pay the $200 in the welcome packet partners program. So then we also added that we can also make posts about businesses and organizations, again, not nonprofits or the coalition, which are part of official city programs, such as the welcome packet program, when authorized by the program rules.
We also have what's the weekend Fairfax. And so we post things like the Friday night food truck and the
like
farmers market.
Yeah.
And those are events that should be on our Facebook page. I don't think we should remove those off of there because they may not be what you would call city business. This isn't about convergent or anything like that, but I think they are civic events that populace needs. They should know about it. They could know about it.
So any feedback or questions, council?
And the red is basically what we're doing now, where we promote
That is correct.
what we're doing as is right now. Because I mean, and maybe I'm splitting hairs here, but like the Polar Splash, what is that? I mean, we're promoting various nonprofits there, for example, because what was this year's Lyme disease, the Legion, and I don't remember
the food pantry and Freedom Foundation.
Are these technically city?
Yeah, those are
organizations. These are all nonprofits, so I think those are.
Well, the overall was the Polar Splash.
Yeah.
Which is a civic coalition program.
Event.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's an event, so that should be on there.
That's added to it. That's what I'm saying, because until we add this technically,
it may not.
That may not qualify as something that allows.
Right.
We feel that how we're using the Facebook, the website, it is in a good way. It's for the benefit of the city and gets more involvement in all sorts of things, but you guys are the deciders, and so we
I think
wanted.
not everybody uses every single social media outlet, and the more we can put on all of them, the more it gets people involved, and more. Some people may not even know all of our media, social media that we have, but they don't have only one, and I don't see the harm in it continuing the way we're doing it right now. I don't see an overlay.
I think that there's potentially a slippery slope when you start. I'm not talking non-profits like the organization, but anything that's for a profit. And just thinking what the residents would want. I think they want city events. Yes, city news events. They're going to say not only Fairfax, but some fringe, things, Walford, even Cedar Rapids. But the less business we have on there, including welcome packet, is probably going to be well accepted.
Yeah, that's why we separated that out into a different category for the businesses and organizations that if we're doing a for-profit post, I think it should be part of a city program that they're probably paying for, and that's one of their benefits of the program.
And on some city pages, they add a little disclaimer that the city is not promoting XYZ or something like that, or taking a position. So that's another thought.
So the examples like that came, it's like the Polar Splash. That sounds like a good one. What was a post that was deemed not good?
Cedar Valley Humane Shelter. We had guest bartenders at the Legion on Thursday night, which we do quite often. And their charity was the Cedar Valley Humane Society, which I posted. I thought that to be a relevant and a relatively worthwhile cause to put out there.
Well, and it was questioned when he posted about the fire department fundraiser and the Line Foundation.
What's the reason against those two?
Well, again, it's a Legion activity, not a city activity. So could it come off as looking like we're promoting the Legion? Perhaps.
But I think you have to take all of that into context though too. You have to read the post and what the post said. And what the post said, our guest bartenders at the Legion tonight are donating their tips to the Cedar Valley Humane Society. That was the gist of the post, was that's where the tips were going. So we have guest bartenders to put the tips in their pocket. Those do not make it onto the city website or the city Facebook page.
I think that brings people to Fairfax. I mean,
well, don't we have in like the week in review or whatever on Facebook? We promote the food truck, don't we?
Right. So that could fall. That could fall.
Business, I think.
Didn't name anybody in particular, just said that it's happening, but you're right. It could be considered as promoting.
I'm trying to think.
Right.
Are we promoting it because it's part of like benefit, not just to the city to bring people in? Is it for a nonprofit? I mean, I don't really see the week in review, the promotions of nonprofits. I don't personally see any issue with it. If there's a disclaimer that people want a part, but like, hey, this month we're promoting X as part of the welcome package, and you can just say this is part of their paid promotion or whatever. If we feel that we need to put that on there, I'm fine with doing like some sort of disclaimer on there, but I think we already put as part of the welcome package, it's business XYZ, whoever's on there. So
what if for a night Mikey's decided to donate money? Would we have let them post on the site page?
In what?
I don't know, just make that.
Well, if they're
just on a Wednesday night, they decided they were going to donate 10% of their income. Then Mikey's probably has their own Facebook page. That's where it should go.
wouldn't the examples of like the guest,
Bartender.
this for the Legion, right? Wouldn't they have their own page?
No, these are not businesses. These are just.
No, the Legion.
Individual.
The Legion.
And it goes on the Legion's page as well.
But what he's saying is that's no different. The Legion has somebody donating. Mikey's decides to donate. How do you determine, are you gonna post both?
Well, I think you have to have a conversation and get a little more information on what exactly Mikey's is proposing. Putting their money into, I guess.
I understand. I think to the point of, you know, I said Mikey's has their own, we have a second one, they have a Facebook page, but I'm just making them up, but one would hope they do. They have their own Facebook page, you know, that's, I don't know if it's the city's responsibility to post events. I understand good causes, there's lots of good causes, but it's going down a real slippery slope. And I don't think it was the original intent of the Facebook page, at least my thought.
What if Mikey's was donating 10% of their sales to FYS Sports?
According to this, it still wouldn't go on because it says businesses and organizations have to be part of a city program. Mikey's isn't part of the Civic Coalition and they're not a nonprofit, right?
Correct.
Is the Legion a nonprofit?
Yes, it is.
That's what I thought.
Yes, it is.
There's your difference.
And part of the Civic Coalition.
And I don't think we should make the determination whether to put it on ours or not, whether they have one or not. You know, that's not our, their own Facebook
Oh,
page.
I
I don't think that should be the determination.
No.
But the Legion is a nonprofit. And so that's following this. They're also in the Civic Coalition that would be following how we currently do it. And then just the welcome packet businesses that participate. I can't think of another city. Well, I mean, if you stretch it and say our newsletter is part of our, you know, social media. We put lots of business ads in there, but they all pay for it. They're part of that newsletter program.
What else goes on this Facebook page? I mean, winter storm alerts or what do we use it for? I have no idea, I'm not a Facebooker.
Next out alerts go on there. I use it a lot for things like the Leon Evans car show's coming up.
Sporting event.
Yeah, sporting events or the park crawl that we recently had, those sort of things.
Seems to me the goal with those pages are to get more people looking at them. The more things you have on there.
You put the Halloween deal on there.
Like,
Trunk or treat.
Cancellations for the Easter egg hunt, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think the question is, someone that's following the page, do they want city updates or do they want, like city updates as far as, you know, things going on in the park, things in the library, what's happening at you know, council meetings, decisions, any other city update, or do they want businesses, whether part of the civic coalition, I can't say that word, or nonprofits, you know, various events like that. It's what's the expectation of the residents when they're following it?
I think the expectation of anybody that uses Facebook is information. And regardless if it happens to be specifically about what you just said, or if it's about events that are happening in the city. I think that's what people use Facebook for. They also use it for weekend warriors, and we've all seen that type of stuff where people have commented on certain posts and that sort of thing, and it starts to get to be a little rough out there. However, though, the city Facebook pages don't allow comments. Or outside posts, I should say, is that correct?
Right, they don't allow.
They don't allow outside posts.
Yeah, I think the balance though, especially with how Facebook is built and how it works, you know, yes, someone could go to the page, but also works in their feed. is the more posts you have, the less visibility posts get, because they, for the most part, people do not scroll. They'll look at their feed, they'll go a little bit, and that's about it. So the more posts that we have in there, there could be very pertinent information that's pushed out. Risk reward.
I would bet if we looked at Joe's post about the things, the coalition events, I would think those events get a lot of likes. We put very little city information, like I don't put anything about the council on there, unless it's in Joanne's calendar. Almost everything that I put out goes on the website. I do very little Facebook posts.
It sounds like the reservation or concern was if your city was promoting like a private business or something on their website,
right,
which we really don't, besides that ads that they're paid for.
Right, correct.
Or except for when we do. Like the farmers, well, the farmers market, we promote that. That's not a city event. That is a business. If you look out there, people are taking money. We promote that. We promote the Friday night food trucks. Whether we name somebody by name or not, we still promote the event.
So I did reach out to the Mayor's Association email. Try to see what other cities are doing. Didn't get a lot of feedback on that. So, so what you see in front of you is documenting how it's happening now. I just need you to say yay or nay to that. The entire policy potentially needs some review. As mentioned, it hasn't been touched for quite a while. But probably we'll wait for the city administrator to take that on. We're just trying to document what's currently happening.
Currently going on.
And this one, because it had some discussion internally, thought it was important to talk about tonight. So
the other thing too, Joanne, I would just mention, if you pull up on Facebook Mayor Tiffany O'Donnell and you see what she posts about, it is strictly, not strictly, but it is a lot of business related activities and events that are going on in certain parts of the town. Now that may not be the city of Cedar Rapids site, but it is named Mayor Tiffany O'Donnell. So I would say
I can start my own page.
Yeah, absolutely. You can start your own page.
I don't need any more work to do.
But if she has a page that says Mayor Tiffany O'Donnell, I expect that to mean that as of the mayor of Cedar Rapids, these are events that she is promoting. And they were things like Oktoberfest down in Nubo and those sort of things. So it's not always all about I guess dry and dreary stats and those sort of things. Sometimes it's about the fun stuff too that happens in your community.
Well, there's an economic development aspect of that.
Sure, absolutely.
To get people in town.
I do think she got in trouble, but once, so you have to be careful. She had commented on the Israeli and Hamas war.
Oh, heaven forbid.
That's not, yeah, that's not the ones that I read. What I read were strictly about Oktoberfest.
Yes, heaven forbid you comment about terrorists. Anyway, all I know is I want ice cream now, so thank you, Dan. Everybody should go to Mikey's and definitely don't have Michigan pothole though. That is not super yummy and I want it all for myself.
And one final thing before you vote on this, I would recommend that we don't have a disclaimer on every single post that we happen to put out there going forward. I believe that is almost more of a hindrance than it is any help.
I would leave it as it's written right now. We can always revisit this if we feel there's some sort of bias or preferential treatment or there's a problem. I have followed the city of Fairfax and stuff. I don't, if I actually want to go there and see what's going on, I'll go there and scroll down.
So you're suggesting as it's written in front of you, not?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
That sounds like a motion to me.
Well, the red's changed.
That's what, as it's written in front of us right now, to have that as our, revised.
Okay.
Social media policy.
Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Ice cream, yes, aye.
Okay, thank you. Number 20, resolution, something changed in the welcome packet or needed to be documented.
Well, yeah, we and I got to looking, and we didn't really have a welcome packet policy, so this is kind of, but again, all of it is what we're doing now, except when we were looking at it, we talked about, local nonprofits that may want to participate as a welcome packet partner. So if a Fairfax nonprofit wants to rent this room, they get it for free. If a outside of Fairfax nonprofit wants to rent this room, they get it half price. If, so we were throwing out the possibility that if a nonprofit wanted to participate at the welcome packet level, that maybe we could give them a half price discount, even if they were a Fairfax local nonprofit. That's the only thing that we aren't currently doing. Everything else is what we're currently doing.
I mean, out of town nonprofits, do you have that?
Local local nonprofits may participate at the half level. So like the Fairfax Lions, if they wanted to participate at the welcome packet level, which comes with some other benefits, then they could pay 100 rather than the 200. If they want to be in the packet, they can be in it for free, and in the listing and stuff, there's a free option. That's the only change from what we're currently doing. It's just documenting.
Feedback, council, questions?
I'm fine with it, yeah,
Is that a motion?
motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That takes us to the bills, item 21. Any question on the claims list? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Unless someone's online, I don't think we have any citizens present. No. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll move on to mayor's comments. A couple of things I think I'm going to defer to Cynthia on specific conversion economic development agreement and city admin update, but I just want to make one comment back on something that was on the department reports. On the banks, the waterway situation, I will send out call it a courtesy notice, just thanking them for the work that they've done so far to improve the status of that, but that we will continue to monitor the situation. So I'll follow through that. That's all I had. Cynthia?
So if you remember at our special, it was just mentioned, I let you know that Convergent had not signed the agreement with the Iowa Economic Development Authority. That was on September 24th. I believe Steve Brooks was on the phone because he signed it September 28th. And sent Joanne a copy of it. Obviously it is a legal contract and we need attorneys to review it. Joanne and I looked through it and I came up with several different things that I thought were wrong or questioned. So I sent it to the bonding attorney and I hadn't heard. I talked to them late today and they said they really don't get involved because they have found that Iowa Economic Development will not modify it hardly ever. But that if he feels that any questions that we have, we should shoot them to Convergent. If we really think something's wrong, like it, I shouldn't even say this out loud, but in the one exhibit, it says the project is in the city of Cedar Rapids.
That shit pisses me off.
And the bonding attorney says, oh, that's no big deal. And I said, oh, I think the city thinks it is a big deal. So anyway, he felt that we should have Convergent say that we're not going to sign it till it's more correct, you know, there's kind of like just a, it actually says there's no property tax exempt. Well, that's what we were doing when we were funding it with TIF, but we were doing a property tax exemption. And then another place, you know, I think we were told they were buying the property. It doesn't show, it shows a breakdown of their costs and it doesn't show any to purchase property. It says a capital lease. So I don't know if that's property or equipment or what. There was just lots of questions that I had based on it. It requires city signature, but obviously it wasn't on tonight. I don't know if it'll be ready for November, but, so we have at least it in our possession. What was the other thing? Oh, I don't know, did I already tell you that, Henson said the last time we talked to them, they had 5 applicants. And that 3 they felt were worthy of interviews, but it's open until October 23rd. And they said they do tend to see a flurry right before the end. So they expect more. I didn't get an update this week from them.
I'm not too excited about worthy of interviews, not other than we have 3 great candidates.
Oh, well, they might have said they were good.
Not theirs. They're gonna bow down to us. Oh, okay. Anything else in here?
No, I'm just going to a software seminar next Wednesday in Des Moines, but that's it.
Okay.
Did you hear any more from anybody on the UP? From congressmen or senators?
Our application, John's left, but our application has been submitted for the federal funding for the UP crossing. We did get 2 letters of support, one from State Senator Charlie McClintock, and the other I went to Lynn County Supervisors meeting and we got the supervisors to provide a letter of support. So we'll see if that does us any good.
So the application actually goes to the DOT. It's been sent to the UP because they have to sign it before it gets sent on today.
That's kind of the tricky part.
Yeah, that could take a while. It's in their court now, so.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah. I know you said Charlie signed one. I didn't. Oh, you heard from anybody else?
Yeah, the supervisors.
Lynn County supervisors.
Supervisors were supportive, but they also said, good luck.
Yeah, right.
So, need a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
We have.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
So. Almost.